Hi, Jeffrey.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I am good. I'm so happy to be talking to you again so soon.
I know it feels like just yesterday we were communicating and really exceeding all expectations, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know that I work with all different types of organizations, leadership groups, and to be honest, I was blown away by not only how you create your culture, how you talk about your culture at JLB, but really how you walk the talk. And so my first question is how did the leadership group, how did the company come up with the four core values? And I know one of your core values is JLB happy, but how did you actually come up with these core values?
It's a great question, Tia, and thanks for asking. We started really the residential part and trying to refocus and rebrand our JLB residential back in 2017. Christina Bernatis, who is our vice president of marketing and training, and myself, the director of training, we sat together, we brainstormed, we tried to figure out what values can we come up with, inherit, and put out into the field that are representative of how we want to do business. The first one we came up with is be present. Be present consumes everything from how you walk into the office every day, how you contribute to the teams, how you speak to individuals, and how you take care of the customer at the end of the day, and always staying present and being in the moment. The
Mhm.
second one we went through was be empowered. Be empowered to make a decision and to use the right judgment when coming to an answer to any question that's going to come your way. Empowerment's important to you, really to let people know that you're in a position to where you're not only following rules, but you're enforcing and you're creating dynamics for the next person. So everything that we do at JLB is because somebody did it and we like, oh, that was the right way to do it. Or somebody may not have done it right and we taught the right way to do it.
Right.
Our third one is be giving. Be giving is really important to our organization, and we try to get at least one giving philanthropy event every quarter so that we're always out helping others and giving back to the community. We've done organizations like Family Gateway, we're a Dallas-based community, so we've done the North Dallas Food Bank. We've done all kinds of different charity donatable organizations in order to let them know that we're a small organization, but we always feel like it's important to give back and give back to our clients as well. Our fourth one is our most favorite. It's be hashtag JLB happy.
Mhm.
And this, one of our regional managers, Jim Morrissey, he one day we're all sitting around brainstorming about what could be our hashtag. And he said, hey, if we could just get our teams to be happy, and he said, wait a minute, JL, be happy. So that came up and we said, yeah. And that's the forefront and that's the focus. So what we do with these core values, Tia, is every quarter we have a focus of one. So right now
Mm.
in our first quarter, we are JLB happy. And then we'll go into present in Q2 of this year. So that's a really long-winded answer to
Mhm.
how we came up with those. But it was all about committing to it,
Mhm.
believing in it, and putting
Mhm.
together values that we think people respect, understand, and can commit to.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but think that when a potential candidate, I know a lot of different people are moving around right now, learns about these and also sees the authenticity and the commitment behind it, that they wouldn't be attracted. And I just for everyone listening, to just write if you're thinking about, do we change the values, or our values right, or what you said at the beginning of, they represent how we want to do business, how you want to do business internally and externally, and then that explains the walk the talk. So what advice do you have for leaders, managers who are experiencing a lot of unwanted turnover right now? If a lot of their great people are leaving, they could say it's for money, they could say it's for, there's all the different reasons, but if you could maybe share a few strategies or tips or advice on how to think about if you're having a lot of unwanted turnover, here's what you should maybe think about, or here's what you
Yeah,
should do.
that's great. And, that's a firm topic for a lot of businesses out there right now.
Yeah.
As we come back from the worst events in universe history, right? I mean, it's we've had a really strange couple years.
Yeah.
So now what we face now is everyone wants back in the job force now. So
Right.
jobs are there and people are fighting for the top jobs or the ones that they feel the most value for, or they feel the ones that they can identify with.
Yeah.
People now want, when they go back to work, they want a home. They want somewhere where they feel connected, where they
Mm-hmm.
feel like their voice matters, where they also feel like their personal values match in line with the company dynamics. So when you're looking at, first off, on the hiring processes, when you look at hiring somebody, you got to look more at, can they perform a job? Instead of that, look at, can they commit to the lifestyle, to the culture, to the overall vision of the company? If the answer is yes, then you start to mold that person into ways that they are an asset to the company, not only for performance wise,
Mm-hmm.
but for the longevity and for the values. And then you start to mesh their values with your values and see where the correlation is. And
Mm-hmm.
so in our organization, in our job group, it's all about the communication of that and really touching base, having those small little meetings, having those small little 5-minute one-on-ones every week for not only me and my employee, but me and maybe the president of the company or me and the CFO, to where every single person, no matter what your title is, no matter what hat you wear, you have that open line of communication that goes back to what that original hiring conversation was. Are you giving these people what they need to grow, excel, and further their development? Additionally, we all get really upset when somebody says, "All right, I'm going to leave this organization for someone else."
Mm-hmm.
The communication doesn't stop there. The communication grows broader and more advanced to where it's, how can I help you on this next step? Yeah, you're taking a step, you're taking an adventure, you're taking a leap of faith. How can I support you? How can I continue to be your mentor as you go to your next
Mm-hmm.
level? If we think about that, we think about the employee relations that we have, and we think about how all of us are here together to do a job. And yes, somebody may end up having to leave us, but we want them to know always that there's an open door for them and we're
Mm-hmm.
waiting for them. And I think it's respect. I
Yeah.
think that when people decide that they do need to leave, whether it's based on money or based on higher opportunities that we may not be able to offer,
Mm-hmm.
it's really important that everything's out on the table and those communication lines are valued by all individuals. And then, Tia, there's also, people that just w- we work with different kinds of generations now,
Mm-hmm.
to where in our industry in multifamily, you don't necessarily see people that have worked in this business for the same company for 10, 15 years. Nowadays, you're probably, the average time that somebody is at a job is less than 3 years, because the generation that's growing into any kind of business, multifamily, it's all about the now. It's all about what I
Right.
can do now. And it's not that intensity of, I've got to stay here, develop my future, and continue that job growth for decades. It's
Right.
so different, even from when my parents grew up, myself, and then also raising the incoming group of workers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So many good, strategies. And I have definitely, there's, one thing you said where I've experienced the opposite, not for myself, but I've seen it where when people leave, that the person, the manager, the leader, the executive is angry, is like, yeah, you're making the wrong choice. Good luck. Not, oh, wow, it's, we don't want to be losing you, but we understand you're going because of this title opportunity. how can I stay and mentor you? How can we stay connected? So that they leave with a really positive, it's almost like people say don't burn bridges when you're going to
Yes.
leave, but it's as much on the company too. Don't burn bridges with people who are leaving, which is really, really valuable.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It's well,
Yeah,
the problem is as leaders, we get in our feelings, we get hurt. It's
right.
said
Take it
that
personally.
yes, ma'am. People say that people leave people, they don't leave companies,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't leave the jobs. They leave their leaders because they don't identify working for that person anymore. I will tell you that I've been in the multifamily industry for about 20 years, and I've worked for about I've 4 management companies in 20 years, and a handful of people that I started my career 20 years ago, I work with them now. It's a
Mm-hmm.
small industry, and
Yeah.
I'll run into people from all walks of life all over the country that we have known some of the same people. Talk 6 degrees of separation. It's the same in every business. You went and mentioned don't burn bridges. It's not hard to be a nice person, but be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why
No
that
matter
JLB
what
Happy
level,
comes
no
full
matter what.
force. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
You never know. And I've you run into people that you may have had to terminate or let go or clear up their future. But if you do it
Right.
with respect and do it with that conversation understanding, it's a mutual respect, and
Right.
it doesn't put you in a situation where you have to second guess the obstacles or the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. So when you think about, and I know you have all different types of, you have a very diverse workforce. You also have people doing very different things, whether it be working in the executive corporate office in sales, actually, running the facilities, taking care of, the relationship with the tenants, actually taking care of the facilities. There's all different types of roles. So what would you say are the main strategies that JLB has to have people feel happy while they're working? What do you think? Kind of everyone that's coming to work every day. What does
I love
JLB do
that.
to have them feel happy while they're working?
I love that. And we do have different facets of our organization. So we have the on-site team members, which are the apartment communities, the manager, the facilities or service technicians, the leasing people. Then we have our corporate, which could be everything from accounting to regional management to developers. And then we also have a construction side where it's people out in the field in different markets, building communities. So you have every level and every type of person doing one job, but everybody having their hands in something different. So in order to create that culture or in order to really fine tune the happiness as people come to work, there's a lot of things that we take into consideration. For the on-site people, we do contests every quarter to we use KPIs or key performance indicators on what you're doing. How are you advancing the sale? How are you keeping your residents happy? How are your reviews coming in from social media, from Google, from apartment ratings? On people's experiences with dealing with our project and dealing with you as an individual. So we list those and we do what are called shout outs. So we list them to our top performers, to our middle performers, and to our performers that need a little edge up on marketing, on training, on 101s. And I think that conversation of reaching out to them and saying, hey, you weren't on top of the leaderboard this week. How do we get you there? What do we
Mm-hmm.
do next? And having that experience and that conversation is really valuable. And we do a lot of it on Zoom or on Teams to where it's a face-to-face conversation instead of
Mm-hmm.
just sending an email. We try to refrain from sending many emails because once you have that inflection and the diction and the all the elements,
Connection.
the connection, right, Gia, that connection, it makes a difference. In the corporate office, we have a committee that we call our fun crew. And so our fun crew is responsible for highlighting different days a month. Like I think that we just celebrated Employee Appreciation Day. We celebrated Fat Tuesday. And so we do all these different things. And it's not necessarily an event. It's letting people know there's certain times, take a breath, take a smile, take a smile break, right? And then go and find these different opportunities that you can be involved with or you can participate. And we get our on-site, our corporate, and our construction team all involved with the status that we are as a company, the
Mhm.
conversation, and then it all leads up to our leadership conference that we do every January, which is called Exceed, and it really highlights where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going, and how all of that feeds back into our core values of the present, empowered, happy, and giving. So all that together. And it's really about conversation. We're not a big organization, so I probably communicate with almost every employee on a weekly basis, whether it's a phone call, an email, a text, or a video conversation. Just to touch base, see how you're doing. And then my job as director of training, my job is to find different ways that they can get involved and different ways that I can assist in training, developing, mentoring, and what that looks like. So, and it's been really fun. And we look at the engagement even on like corporate ILSs like Glassdoor or LinkedIn, and we
Okay.
look at the involvement of our teams and the interconnection with all of the levels of position, how they find each other, how they mesh up, and then also reviews that they list on our corporate website on happiness, on
Mm.
their activities and where they respond to leadership styles and value of the job they're doing.
So you've touched on it a little bit. I want to ask, how do you measure how happy people are? How do
That's
you
great.
gauge? How do you, I know one you said is on the video conversations and the Teams or Zoom conversations or phone, right? You can get a sense of how people are doing, but any other ways that you or the leadership group measures how happy people are?
Sure. We do, like I said at the beginning, we talked about how our value for this quarter is hashtag JLB happy. One thing that we evaluate that hashtag on our Instagram, on our Facebook, and all of our social media so that it's putting out there what our mantra is, right? To be
So like
happy.
you're encouraging people to use the hashtag.
Absolutely. And then the other ways is we do it. We have an internal. It's called Yammer, and so it's
Okay, yep, I'm
internal.
familiar with like
Uh,
internal communication
Yes,
tool.
ma'am. Absolutely. And right now, every week, we do a what makes you JLB happy. And it's a poll
Like a
on
pulse
what
check.
makes you absolutely. And so this week's was really a fun one because we did it around spring break. And so the question is, with spring break coming up, what makes you JLB happy? What activity? Is it hiking and biking? Is it camping? Is it fireside chats? Is it canoeing? Or what is it about the outdoors that you plan to get involved that not only makes you happy in life, but just goes back to that hashtag? What
Right.
makes you JLB happy? And so I think that's important as you start to put outside activities and development. We try to encourage everybody's own personality to get into these challenges, these votes. We also just completed what we would it's called Charity Miles, and we did it with an organization for a goal of us to walk in February 2,500 miles, and we hit our goal in 3 weeks. And that was really good to see all the people out there and how involved they are. So, from a
Mhm.
leader's perspective, that makes us happy to say, hey, we're doing the right things. We have such a high percentage of our associates that are chiming in, joining in, and excelling at such a fun organization or a fun activity. But then also, we try different things that, if we're missing a certain percentage, let's try something else. Let's see what flavors
Mhm.
of coffee make you most happy. What movie genre makes you most happy. And so that has been something that we've taken this quarter and done it every week starting January 1 for getting the pulse on what really makes our associates happy or our
What
team
makes
members.
people happy? I mean, I love it. And what you said also is a way that you measure is when you're doing different activities, whether it be a community event or something else, is you're measuring the engagement, because a lot of times companies will do things and then 30% of the people actually, so it's like, okay, was that really a company event? Whether it's online, virtual, in person, like you said, the walk, there's so many different things you can do, but that's another great way of if the majority of the people are not engaging, then that shows disengagement,
Absolutely.
which connects to sort of just how they're feeling overall about the organization, about doing stuff with leaders, etc.
Yes, ma'am. And
Yeah.
we have something that we do consistently as well that we've had around for 5 years. And each quarter, it's always the second Wednesday of the quarter. So our next event
Okay.
is April 13th, and we call it our National Renewal Night. And so what that does is every team that night, it's from 6 to 8 p.m.,
Yeah.
every team focuses on residents, on getting them engaged, making them happy, welcoming them to the community, signing their leases, signing their renewals, but it's the same time nationwide. And during that night, we post videos and pictures and polls and questions and shout outs to where, hey, we had a resident just do a review online. What do you have? And kind of a back and forth to where we are able to
Collective.
see the camaraderie amongst the teams because
Right.
we're looking at a footprint spanning from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Washington, D.C. So
Right.
we have to figure out fine-tune ways that our teams can all have the same relationships, the same success methods, and really showcase their talents as much as possible.
And have them feel connected and united, even though they're apart geographically, that they're
Absolutely.
all feeling like one team. So
Yes.
good. Okay, so my last question is about you, because my book, right? Be a Happy Leader. So
Yes, ma'am.
what is something that you do to keep yourself happy? I know you're very busy, you have lots going on, traveling and just working with all different types of teams. So what's something that you do personally that helps you stay happy so you can be that happy leader for others?
That's great. Well, I would love to say that I eat right. I work out 5 times a week. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't know if that's true to you because I do like my wine. Uh, but I do wake up happy, and I choose to be happy when I wake up.
Hmm.
It's one of those things that I am not a superstar. I don't jump out of bed at 6 a.m. ready to go. I have to will myself to say, okay, we're gonna have a good day. We're gonna make this happen no matter what. But the people I associate with on a daily basis keep me rolling. They keep me laughing. They keep
Mm,
me happy. I tell people all the time that my work my work starts at 8:30, but by the time I come in, do a lap around the corporate office and say hello to everybody, and I get coffee and we catch up for the night before, catch up on programs we're watching. I may start working about 10, and then when I may have to leave at 5, but I start my goodbyes at 3 o'clock and then make sure everybody's okay, see what they're doing for the night or the weekend. I'm
right.
I'm the I'm the social connector.
You're the
And
social
so
connector. I love that.
absolutely, absolutely. And I've found in my personal time, you've got to come up with some kind of hobby or some kind of activity that keeps your mind growing. Some people
Mm,
read, some people listen to movies or podcasts or TV.
mhm.
And I try to take up something different. I just recently purchased a house, and so it's home projects every day.
Right.
And when
What
I
you're
go home and
learning and yeah, engaging in
yeah,
that.
absolutely. And so,
Awesome.
and the reason I tell you that is because there's home projects and you have to learn how to do it. And you have to say, okay, I can pay somebody X amount of dollars to do this, or I can find a way to do it at a different price, but still get the same end of day result, right?
Right.
It's the same with work. You can come in and you can say, all right, I can push this off to somebody else. We can get the same results, or I can find a way for us to have value, add value to the end result, do it in a good way, and make that person at the end of the day say, wow, I didn't look at things that way, right? And
Right.
you change and you cultivate and you morph into these different people or different elements of your education or your
Right.
workforce to where you fine tune your own happiness. Happiness for
Love that.
me is working and making somebody else smile. I love it.
Aw.
I feed off of. You don't want to see me in a bad mood though, Tia. I am a force. I'm
Well,
like one of
maybe, yeah,
those.
maybe I one day I'll see that. I haven't seen it. Yes, of course. But oh my gosh, Jeffrey, you have given people who are listening so many different tips, inspiration. There's a reason that that the world brought us together, the universe, I should say, brought us together. So thank you for being
Well,
on the show, and hope to see you soon.
thank you, Tia. I appreciate you as always.
Of course.